Get up and get out. Get out. Get out.
I have a question for you.
Say Christ is Lord. Say Christ is Lord. Say it. You say Christ is Lord. Get out. Get out. Christ is Lord.
Hello and welcome into another episode of Offensively Accurate. Well, hesitant to say another episode, but I'm going to start doing a lot more of these kind of casual streams. But appreciate everybody for being in here. LOL Marble, always appreciate seeing you in here. Zero Infinity Live, nice to see you in here as well. New American Vision is back. NAV is back in full force. We had a meeting yesterday that went really well. It was actually one of the longer meetings that we had. And we are looking very ahead of what we have ahead of us. And for this year in particular, our focus, especially my focus with NAV, is going to be what we can do to get Casey in office over Vivek. And for me particularly, I'm more so of just whatever it takes to make Vivek lose. So just to tell you, that's where NAV is at. All shows should be back in full force. The Sunday Founder Show is getting a little bit of a rework. That'll be moving to Monday. So expect it to be happening on Monday this coming week. And then we'll also be having a potential new signee on. Signee, new creator, and you guys know him and love him, and his name is Tom Foe, and so we will likely be introducing Tom Foe on Monday, and I'll get the details out to him later today or tomorrow. But today, pending impeachment, getting into the actual news of what today is, there's just a lot that's been happening, and I think a lot of it's still the reaction of what's been occurring and continually occurring. Thank you very much for the memberships. I appreciate that, World Champion. And so I just have a short list here. Now, obviously, I made the video earlier, so I wasn't able to prepare too much for Offensively Accurate. And also, I apologize because Zeb Boykin is currently live right now, too, with Owen Schroyer, although I think he has got a bit of a longer intro, so I'm not sure if they're live right now yet. So sorry, I didn't know that was going on, but here I am. Vivek got bullied off of X, off of social media. He said he deleted both his Instagram and his X account. That was beautiful. That's wonderful. We love that. And his reasoning for it is just insane. He's being clobbered online and being bullied even more for what he had said. People are pulling up old quote tweets of his to the effect of, if you can't handle your comment section, you're not fit to lead. And here he is, and he's a professional scam artist. So what could you expect? Also, in honor of our Somalian brothers and sisters, I will be looking like a pirate for this foreseeable future until they are all sent away. No, just kidding, dude. It's so hot in here. I had to change the getup. Dan Bongino returns to the podcasting world, and he's attacking everybody. He's waging a war on everybody. He got into a little bit of a spat with Matt Gaetz that just was kind of looked poor on both sides, to be honest with you. We can look into that. Trump is begging for votes. He is begging for to not be impeached is really what the plea was today. We'll watch that video. Netanyahu's judge, who's presiding over his corruption case, was found dead. Theo Von and Dave Smith were glazing Nick Fuentes. There's a hilarious RFK video that's going around that's definitely AI, but I'm already seeing some people are getting tricked by it. It's funny. We'll watch it. Then we got another report that only 1% of the Epstein files has been released. They're still having candlelight vigils for January 6th. Iran's paying people $7 a month. And Grok is putting everybody on X in a bikini. That's what's happening. That's your news. That's your news for today. Like, that's what's just going on in today. So we'll go ahead and get it started. The first thing I want to do is just take it over to this first tweet that I saw from Newswire. Dude, this could not be any better. And yes, Bongino is a coward. Definitely do not vote these midterms. Only if you're in Ohio and you're only voting for Casey, and that's in the governor race. We're not. Listen. It's America first, America only. Any other candidates not pushing that? Any other candidate not pushing Christianity? Nope. I guess I won't be there. All right. I guess Amy Acton it is, huh? But here's this tweet I wanted to show everybody. And this is from Newswire. This is right here. Trump to House Republicans, quote, I wish you could explain to me what the hell's going on with the mind of the public, because we have the right policy. Now, this is hilarious. And what's up, everybody? Appreciate everybody for being here. This is hilarious for a multitude of reasons, but the biggest and most obvious would be this is showcasing in an exhibition, a representation, if you will, of the fact that there's nobody is actually truly trying to communicate the public opinion to him. And this is part of the issue with people like Susie Wiles and the way that he has his administration, the way that he's wrapped up. He's very tight knit in a small circle. And he's telling everybody here that we're all wrong. He's right. And this is what happens when you are largely directed by people and largely an elite group of inner elites that are telling you these are the right things and are in your ear constantly, glazing you and pushing it forward. And now where does he find himself? Well, Trump finds himself now begging for votes, begging for people to show up in the midterms. Please don't let me get impeached. And that was this clip that's been floating around today. So I have this from Aaron Rupar. Obviously, I don't really care too much about Aaron Rupar, but here's the clip. It's only about 20 couple seconds long. You got to win the midterms. Here it is.
But you got to win the midterms, because if we don't win the midterms, it's just going to be, I mean, they'll find a reason to impeach me. I'll get impeached. We don't impeach them. You know why? Because they're meaner than we are. We should have impeached Joe Biden for 100 different things.
And Marcus is completely right. This is something that I was picking up on, I mean, a hot minute ago with some of the smaller stuff. And I was making note of it back when they were kind of covering up like the bruising on his hands and the swelling of his ankles. And just I'm the pragmatic guy in the room, apparently. It's just an obvious tell, which is like, look how old he is. Look at like the physical symptoms showing up. It wouldn't be a hard prediction to make to be like, hey, there's a really high chance that before he's out of office, he's going to start deteriorating much in the same as Joe Biden did. And just to that point, I mean, like it sounded like he was whispering into the microphone. And I caught a little bit of the slurring of words, although there's one that I thought did a really good job of it. One of the clips that I'd seen. And what do you expect? And here we are. And the thing is he's not going to get the votes. And I'm kind of curious, like what's going to be the ultimate play here? Are we going to get like this kind of the Republicans turning on the people? The Republicans are going to turn on everybody else and say, like, it was you guys, you failed Trump. Are they going to try to really seriously spin that narrative? And sure, go ahead, let them. I think that would be the full circle of the end of the GOP, which was the people begged and demanded them to listen to them, while the GOP said, "F you, you're idiots. We know what we're doing." So you get what you deserve. I have no qualms about it. I've unfortunately had this dark feeling about them taking the midterms in 28 for a hot minute. But this is what you deserve. This is part of what goes in with accelerationism. This is how we move on to the next level, which is people actually use their votes how they're supposed to be, which is they're not automatically just given because somebody's red or somebody's blue. And so there will be negative consequences from this, I would imagine, and we'll see what that is as we get closer through the midterms. And we see that Polymarket, I'm pretty sure, still has the midterms heavily going in the House, going to the Democrats. We'll see what happens in the Senate. But that's basically where Trump is at right now. Going to Vivek, though, and appreciate seeing everybody here. And again, this isn't like a typical offensively accurate. I want to put out more content. So unfortunately, like some of this is going to be me reacting in real time to things. I like Candace's style. Now, as much as I've talked shit about Candace, truly, I do appreciate the podcast episodes that are a bit more prepared. And some people might not like that. Maybe some people just prefer the regular kind of streaming stuff. But I guess for me, that's kind of like what I like to go for. So I feel uncomfortable that I'm not like, I don't have preparation here, or like I don't have like a bunch of, not like slides, but I don't have like notes prepared beforehand. That's just the way I roll. But going to the aggregate here, to Vivek being bullied off of X, this is golden. This is golden, and especially what Casey's response was to it. But put it on screen here. This is the aggregate here, and yeah, definitely. And the speech is becoming slower as well too. I noticed that not on this one, but it was not even the Lindsey Graham episode. This had been like maybe 4 or 5 days ago, and I think he had a bunch in that moment. I forget what he was giving a speech about. But on to Vivek. He deletes his social media apps to focus on the Ohio campaign. That's wonderful. It's perfect. And that was basically the reasoning that he gave. Now, I wish there was one that went a bit deeper than the screenshot here from Nick, although that is funny. And so he says, like, I'm swearing off Instagram and X where it's too easy to get a distorted sense of the public's concerns. Interesting. What was funny is I saw this letter from Milo. He just wrote one to Vivek. But somebody had a better screenshot somewhere in here that showed a bit more of the article. And it was essentially just going, here we go, it's from First Class Clips. This is what I wanted to find. So if you go through and you read this article a little bit, he says, on New Year's Eve, I deleted X and Instagram from my phone. I'll spend my newfound time listening to more voters in Railroad, Ohio, developing more policies to make our state affordable, and being more present with my family. I predict that ending my consumption of social media will make me a better leader and a happier man. And this is, yeah, you're Indian, bye-bye. True, it's very true. This is kind of like what people, when you know, like the attention whores and like just like those kind of people who thrive off of like misery, and it typically is more often women than men. But like I wasn't expecting this, to be honest. He had been doing such a good job of maintaining this kind of persona, and all of a sudden it's erased in a matter of like a year, maybe even less than that. And people were asking about, will Trump endorse Vivek? I mean, he technically already did at the beginning of 2025. I guess the question would be, will he, like, he probably won't like disavow Vivek or anything, but will there be any kind of furtherance of that endorsement? I really don't think so at this point. But given the fact that what we got from Newswire is he's telling people like they got the right policy, why is the public mad at me? Then maybe he will. I mean, maybe he just won't. Maybe public sentiment doesn't matter at all right now. And maybe that's not even indicative of how he's making any choices or decisions. I was on the other side of that, just seeing the fact that 2,000 agents showed up to Minneapolis. But seeing that from Trump is just, that it sucks. And I think is more evidence in the coffer that is, this is more so an administration being ran by a group of people than it is, Trump being led by Trump. It's more so, it probably is, just like how we explore with Susie Wiles. Is Susie Wiles running the White House right now? I mean, we read through the paper, we read through it, and it was immediately kind of taken out of the news cycle, actually, now that I think about it. But talking about how when there's any kind of, division or anything, they put it up to a vote. And sometimes Trump wins. Like, that's crazy to me. Absolutely crazy that the article even got out. So Vivek's gone. And Casey was pushing a bit further onto him. If I can find that one from Casey, let me put it back on screen. Is it this one? No. Casey did put one on here. There it is. He says, which is it, Vivek? Should politicians engage with their voters on social media or not? Why are you really leaving X? I'm not going anywhere. And what he's screen capping here is the one that people are making fun of, which is if you're scared of your comment section, you're not fit to lead. So be it. So be it. And Vivek is gone. And I think that ultimately probably will spin the end, or will be the end, rather. What is that phrase of language? Is it spin the end? Can't remember. But I do think this will be the end of Vivek. I think I'm actually a lot more confident in moving forward in Ohio, and especially not even just this one, but seeing that there was one, I think it was pushed by the Ohio GOP. It's either the Ohio GOP or let's like Republicans for Ohio, and they had made a push for Vivek. They had like his face on there, and they're like, make sure you make the right choice, vote Vivek. And they got ratioed like crazy, like a real ratio, like one of the original ones where like it had like 80 likes, but like 400 comments. And everybody was in there like, nope, not going to be me, not voting for that. And like people were saying like, what's a real Ohioan, right? And it's good. And I like this. And I think this energy has to continue. It should continue ultimately. And moving off from that though, we have Dan Bongino returning, which this was just more trash, if you ask me. So Dan Bongino basically returns and he declares war on the black pillars, like the black pillars and something to that effect. I'll put this up on screen here. Let me grab the aggregate as well. So it says it sparks a mega clash after FBI exit. The only issue is that Dan Bongino is entirely in the wrong and he's like getting obliterated by a lot of people for it. But what scares me is seeing that he has still a lot of support regardless. And so we got into a little bit of a spat with Matt Gaetz. But before we get to there, this is from Duke Rudkowski just from 5 hours ago. And he says, I want a legit answer about why this happened. Dan Bongino in 2023 versus Dan Bongino in 2025.
Listen, that Jeffrey Epstein story is a big deal. Please do not let that story go. Keep your eye on this. Catherine Rumler, we need to keep the heat on this case, folks. There are a lot of people who are knee deep in the Washington swamp who are not telling you the truth about serious allegations out there that Epstein may have had video and audio of people out there doing things they shouldn't have been doing. And you should be asking yourself the question, how is it that all these people, the CIA director, the Obama fixer, Bill Clinton, all intersected paths with Jeffrey Epstein? Jeffrey Epstein isn't with us anymore, and nobody seems to want to talk about it. Outside of a few entrepreneurial media outlets saying, hey, this is a big deal.
He killed himself. You want me to? I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
Listen, that Jeffrey Epstein.
I think the best one. Now I could be getting it wrong, but I'm positive it was Dan Bongino who had said it. But it was, I believe, in the joint one that they had with also Kash Patel being roped in there, everybody's favorite Indian. Where he was said, I think verbatim, "There's no there." And I think that was probably would have been a great clip there. But he is cooked, and I think you are in the wrong if you are supporting Dan Bongino at this point in time, to be honest with you. And but he comes back, he declares war on everybody. This one I wanted to watch. I want to make sure. I think I bookmarked it earlier on a different one. But he's going at Matt Gaetz. He's called. I think he literally verbatim to Matt Gaetz says, "Why don't you go back to hating Jews?" Whoa. Like, okay, like, dang, dude, that was pretty spicy. And but this is a little bit of a summary here from Eric Moutsos. I don't know too much about this guy. I think with a grain of salt, but here's this video.
Oh, everybody, Dan Bongino's back after a year. Hey, Dan, how are you? Did anybody just have like a little bit of, just like kind of teeny tiny bit of hope that Dan was going to be like, guys, I just went in there, I saw the belly of the beast, and I'm going to come out swinging? Nope. Dan decides that he wants to go after the people that are questioning the very things that Dan was advocating for people like us to question.
That Jeffrey Epstein story is a big deal. Please do not let that story go. Keep your eye on this. Catherine Rumler, we need to keep the heat on this case, folks. There are a lot of people who are knee deep in the Washington swamp who are not telling you the truth about serious allegations out there.
God, that kind of sounds black pilly, huh? But instead, Dan's calling everybody black pillars, and they must be we must go after the black pillars because they're the ones creating confusion and division, and midterms are coming up. So I'm coming out of the FBI where I didn't do shit. So instead of one of your first messages out the gate, like, hey, we understand where a lot of you are coming from, like.
But that's the point, right? And there she shows herself again. Who was it that packed in Dan Bongino? Dan Bongino comes out, he's raging around, he's screaming at people as it was reported. Who packs him in? Susie Wiles. She says, get back in line. She flicks a photo of his family at him. She's like, do it or else. Israel's coming for you. I didn't say that, but like, obviously that those are the vibes most people are picking up on.
We haven't actually arrested anybody at all. The message is we're going to go after the people that are questioning us. Is this your new mission, Dan? Is this your new operation to go after the people that are questioning why we've been lied to and gaslit over and over and over?
I was going to say something about that earlier.
You know, Epstein's an intelligence asset for people in the Middle East, right? I'm like, no, I didn't know that. I'm like, you sure of that? The person, let's say, is like, I'm absolutely sure of that he's either a witting or unwitting asset, intelligence asset, meaning his plane and that island, the cameras, there's a big assumption out there that these videotapes were exclusively in the custody of Epstein. That's a huge mistake. The reason they wanted this story to go away is because there's an assumption like, oh yeah, Epstein had him. No, he wasn't the only one who had him, according to this source. These assets, that's why this blackmail story makes so much sense.
Did he take a black pill?
And it's funny because it's like, if anyone is a grifter, it by default, it becomes Dan. He's podcast circuit. He'll cover, Jeffrey Epstein left and right, but when push comes to shove, what are you talking about? What Epstein list? Now he's literally gonna be as just as insufferable as Benny Johnson. And the thing is like, at least Dan, well, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Dan Bongino is one of those guys that that they talk about. When they're all gay, they're all homosexual, they're all wearing beards. Because, dude, I cannot explain to you like this bad vibe I got. And this is a whole other side point. But if you had watched in the video earlier, I covered what's his name, like Joe Edlow. He's the guy who's in charge of like the United States, who's passing out the work visas. And what you'll see is like his original photo. He's got no beard, like no nothing. He looked like he's very Jewy, right? Like he could have hooked me through the photo. But in like the photo he has when he's in the administration, it looks like he got, people are kirkifying things. It looks like this guy got JD Vanced. Like next thing you know, he's like a little bit less fat. His double chin's kind of gone. He's got the stubble there. Now he's wearing like these slightly sharper glasses, got a bit of a demeanor. And it's like, I don't know. Is there something there? Is there somebody grooming these guys to like look a certain way? Is that the look, the JD Vance look? I don't know.
Causing confusion and drama?
Evidence in a case this big. Was it lost? You get what I mean? I don't know. I'm just telling you, I've never seen evidence. You know what I did see evidence lost? Seriously. Sadly, during 9/11, our office was in 7 World Trade Center, the Secret Service office. 7 World Trade came down. I promise we lost a lot of evidence. That's the only time I've ever seen evidence lost.
That almost sounds like some bitching and whining. Dan, are you with me still? Do you think that this is going to go any better than what's happening to Ben Shapiro's show for you? Especially now that we know exactly who you are.
Love.
That's right. What cause is dear to your heart?
Cause is dear to my Israel. Defense of Israel.
Dude, bro. Dude, if anybody says that ever near you, you just run. You gotta run. And also, like, it's insane how many of these videos have like that, just like aggressively loud music on it. I understand like it's all with the TikTok era, but sometimes it's just like, like I don't need the music there. Maybe it's just me. I really don't care for music. Ben lost 6 million subscribers. That's funny. Yeah, he's lost what is it? It's like over like 40,000 right now. He's losing in something like 1,300 a day. It's crazy. Ever since like what was it? It was like since the Tucker cost, I would imagine somewhere probably late November, beginning of December, which is just oh well. But that's Dan, and now he's got he's blocked Matt Baker. The funny thing was the back and forth with Matt Gaetz. If I could find it, maybe I just need to go to Matt Gaetz' profile directly. Maybe I should. And does anybody else's X do that, where like the whole sidebar disappears? Mine does that constantly. I got to refresh all the time. It's I got to do the right one. It's this one. It's this personal one. Interesting. Okay, so here it is. This is it. So this seems to be was this the reply to him? Yeah, it was. So he adds this. So Dan Bongino ends up quoting himself, right? And let me do super chat first. I appreciate it. Titan, thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Certified Wing Half Titan says, dude, wouldn't it be crazy if these people cared about America, dude? I'm gonna cry, dude. I'm gonna cry. They're that is no. That would be crazy, wouldn't it? But like, it's just like they're not like they would. No. Can you imagine a politician in America like actually caring about America that like wouldn't get like their head blown off? It's sad, but it's like I'm laughing because it's painful, and this is how I deal with pain. But it's true, and Titan makes a great point, and I'm not laughing at Titan at all. I'm laughing at the concept, and it's like at a certain point you think probably gonna not beg for these things anymore. We come to expect it. Of course, Dan was going to come out and show for Israel. Of course. Oh, wow. Wonderful. Who's broken now? Politics broke me a long time ago. I've been I've been buck-a-broken, pause, by politics, dude. It's unfortunate. But look at this tweet. I mean, by itself, this one has 70,000 likes. Like, there's this many people like are in the Dan Bongino camp still. And I mean, it's a continuation of what he said, right? This is his first opening mission. We missed you, the grifters, and, we're a movement guided by truth. All of this. It's like, you wouldn't have to write all this, to be honest with you, like, if people actually, like, respected what you were doing. But this is where Matt Gaetz comes in. He responds, he says, when did Dan Bongino run for office, and how do you perform as a candidate? Which is hilarious. But to see the answer for Grok, it should be right underneath. Dan Bongino ran for office 3 times as a Republican. He lost all 3 of them. In 2014, though, he got super close. It was like a 1.5% margin. In 2016, though, he placed 3rd in the primary, never made it to the general. And then in 2012, he did win his primary, but he lost to Ben Cardin. But this is the response. This is what he says. Maybe I spent more time at shady parties with moneyed insiders. I would have won. I heard you know a bit about that. You've always been a dick, by the way. Grifting off your daddy like a suckling little doggy. When I first met you in the Panhandle, I knew you were a piece of shit. It's written all over that phony face of yours. How about it? How about it? You can be curated rage bait content. That is a part of it. Funny enough, I talked a lot about this with the guy who's the producer for Mr. Beast, which I'll link that series to you guys once we get to it. That won't be on an Atlas Thug. It'll be on a whole different channel. And that'll be a whole entirely different venture. Be completely different than what I do here. But it's wild because, it's all the politicians we came to know and love that were basically the personification of what that idea was in MAGA. And I mean, when you think about it, it was like, who was it? It was like Massey. It was MTG. It was Matt Gaetz. There's probably a couple others that I'm not thinking of that would fit that bill as well. And now everybody who's in the administration has turned on every single one of these people. There's seems like there's almost no communication. If anything, the communication is, attacking each other online. But to go back to where this was, and you could see Zeb's chat in here too, which is funny. He says, just retire, dude. You have nothing left. Credibility out the window. And so it's good that a lot of people are giving him pushback here. Hodge Twins as well too. Matt Gaetz responded on this one, but I want to see what this actually is. So he continues. Interesting. This is crazy. So Matt Gaetz quoted this, told him to take a chill pill, use code MAT10, whatever, regardless. Says, like, why are you angry at me? I share your disdain for moneyed insiders. Deeply proud of my father. Make a great team. Are you saying having a successful father is a bad thing? Did you share that with President Trump or Don Jr.? That's kind of funny. Take a chill pill, Dan. So what does Dan say here? That's right, doggy. Backpedal away. Good move. Now go blame the Jews for your dumbass tweet. That's crazy. I'm sorry. That's crazy to me, right? Dan Bongino comes straight out at this. And the thing is like Matt Gaetz has been very specifically non-hands-on with targeting that it's Jewish ethnic. It's Israel, very strongly against Israel. He had even recently with Tucker Carlson, he was on the podcast circuit, explaining about more details about like when his father was being blackmailed over Matt Gaetz. Does anyone care to follow up and see what happened with that? No one gives a shit. There's no follow up with that. But what they'll do is they'll use that, flip it, turn it, pervert it to the worst format, and then say Matt Gaetz, all he's concerned about is Jews. That's just crazy work. And like anybody following Dan Bongino or think he's an honest person or anybody worth listening to a half second of anything with, is like, you can have him. And honestly, like, you're better off for it. Stop voting for America first. Go back to MAGA. Wrap yourself up in that crowd. Close your eyes. Say la 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 and get the hell away from America first. Because you don't belong here. And in quite fact, there is a little bit of a barrier where it's like, if you just can't see it, you can't grasp it at a certain point, it's like you are probably not even fit to be in the movement either. But what is he responding with? This is what I'm curious with. I want to hear what this clip is. Is this from today? Or is this like, I don't know, maybe this is. It seems like it's a bit older one though. We'll see.
I'm going to tell you something. When it came to the Secret Service debacle and keeping President Trump alive, I met with Matt Gaetz up at the Heritage thing when I did that little congressional hearing we did. And there's no one more concerned about keeping Trump safe than this guy. Here's Matt Gaetz versus Christopher Wray. This is one of the finest clips you'll see today. This guy understands that Christopher Wray, who hopefully will be leaving his job the minute Trump is sworn in, Matt Gaetz gets it. The FBI management has worked as a singular force to destroy liberties and freedoms in the United States, and they better get a guy in there who's willing to see it for what it is. This guy sees it. Were they aghast at the nomination of Derek Farland, sometimes known as Merrick Garland? I'm not so sure. They didn't sound aghast. They were aghastless with Merrick Garland, but now they're aghast. They're aghast. What do you want to date him? How many times do I got to tell you this? Michael, if I not said this 1,000 times, what is this, a Tinder site? I don't like Matt Gaetz. I don't like the way. Really? What do you want to date with him? What do you want to do? You looking for some after-hour activities with him or something? What are you worried about? All I'm worried about is a guy who gets it and is going to clean up the act over there. Who's a +1 or a -1. I see the world transactionally as a spreadsheet. You're going to fix the government or not. That's it.
That's crazy. Imagine having a complete 180 than that. And we'll finish it out, but what does he say? What does he even say with that in the original one? You've always been a dick, by the way. When I first met you in the Panhandle, I knew you were a piece of shit. That's crazy because he's talking about his first time he met him, and that's clearly not what he thought here. Something changed, Dan. What was that? What was that, Dan? What changed? What was the pushback Matt Gaetz was giving you that really rubbed you the wrong way?
Senate Republicans, you better get your asses in line. I'm sorry. Matt and I are not the best of friends. Matt and I've had problems.
Hold on.
Line, I'm sorry. Senate Republicans, you better get your asses in line. I'm sorry.
But now it's the voters better get their ass in line. Now, granted, Dan's not said that so far, but he's basically declaring war on anybody who is dissenting against it. And no, I take that back. That's clearly what he's waging war on. He's waging war on everybody who's dissenting and pulling away from MAGA. And so now it's completely flipped. Now that he's been thoroughly, now that Dan has been brought into the files, it's completely changed. The dude has no morals. And maybe that's all it was, man. Maybe it all. And the thing is too, is the sad part with this is, I would imagine there's a lot of people who are probably like in Gen X or maybe even younger than that, or probably a lot of people just across all the different age spectrums who listened to this guy for a while, probably very similar with Alex Jones. And they arrive, here we are in 2026. Hey, I'm a little hairless dude. Come on, calm down. Not brown, but not just messing, I don't care. And you arrived at 2026 and these two top dogs, and there's a couple others you can throw in there too, are seemingly doing everything they can to deep throat 8 inches of the new world order, the global order, whatever you want to call it, the Jewish, the Zionist, this occupied government, whatever you want to call it. I mean, like, these guys are supposedly fighting against that, whatever it was, in its amalgamous form, the deep state. And then they arrive today, and the guy they listened to for 8 years is now screaming at them because they're not gonna suck off Trump because they're questioning him. And they find that he has failed his campaign promises. He's betrayed the American people. And this is all off the back of like things like the Epstein files, which again, reporting's been floating around too, which is that only 1% of the Epstein files have been released, which is again, another insane headline to have on top of everything. Then you get all these layers of rage for different reasons. Dan Bongino, man, what an awful way to go. He would have been better off retiring the first time instead of threatening it and then getting packed in and then just walking away. But like that one guy said at the beginning of the video, how many people were expecting Dan would possibly, hopefully, like waiting, like Dan comes out and he has some objective takes and he's like, maybe he would be against some of the stuff the Trump administration was doing. Are we ever going to know what Dan was getting in arguments with or what about? Do you think he'll be honest about that at all? Do you think we'll ever understand like what the tensions were, what made him leave? Or is it just going to ever be this kind of amalgamous? Do you think that Dan Bongino is screaming at Susie Wiles, it's being reported, because he wants to spend time with his family? And no, like none of us buy that. And like it's offensive. Well, I mean, to me it is. It's offensive to think that you can just say that and push it as if we don't remember what the fuck happened. Forgive me. Shouldn't be cursing. So Dan Bongino, see ya. Goodbye. Leave. Go. I'm not going to say that. But moving on to some of this other like crazy stuff, it's this thing just I caught this off guard just right before I went live. This is from AF Post. I saw it from somebody else. Might have been an academic agent. But AF Post says the judge presiding over Benjamin Netanyahu's corruption case has been found dead. Judge Benny Sagi, president of the Beersheba District Court, was killed in a traffic accident on Sunday, January 4th, 2026. Now, I'm not sure when he was set to actually air, to like show up, to actually, face the trial. But this is, and I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of people coming in here, but a lot of people reporting on this. This is just kind of crazy, obviously. But I don't think just so far as the court proceedings were anywhere being close to even happening. They've been asking for it and begging for it for such a hot minute. And a lot of people are pushing that too, which is funny. Another side point to all of this is, I'd kind of explained the last stream. What you have is, first it's like, we have to bomb Iran because they're pursuing nukes. Then you have, we have to bomb Iran because they won't stop pursuing their ballistic missile program. Then it was, we're gonna bomb Iran if they don't contain these protests that we started. And what you have actually, contrasting that, if you look at what was happening in the public in Israel, is the opposition party and the opposition, public is holding protests against Israel. And one of the best tweets I've ever seen, and I couldn't find it, I tried looking for it, was, okay, are we going to bomb Israel now? Like, here's Israel not being able to contain their protests. They're clearly demanding for a change in leadership. Why aren't we bombing them? What's the change here? What's the actual, what's the lever here? What's the principle that we're doing one and not the other? And I thought it was a pretty good play out there. But just to put it into your news feed like this that is insane. Another thing that popped up was Theo Von and Dave Smith were glazing Nick Fuentes. And I got the trending thing here, but there's a bit of a longer clip I wanted to find and a shorter one too. So we'll play the short one here. 88 viewers. Too bad it's not 14. 88. Which is awesome. 88 viewers, only 32 likes. Smash the like button or I will smash. No, just kidding. Make sure you smash the like button. It helps me out a lot. And here's the one that I saw first. It was like the shorter one, 1.5 minutes. And then I saw another one that's longer. So I'll try to find the longer one after this. But here it is. And maybe we will. Theo Von, Nick Fuentes soon. Be pretty cool.
Well, they got Tucker fired from Fox News, right? It doesn't matter. He's bigger. Yeah. He's bigger now. So what are you going to do? And then like Nick Maduro. Fuentes, what are you going to do? He's banned off everything, I mean, he's on, I guess, Twitter and Rumble. But so what are you going to do?
And he's huge.
Yeah. Is bigger than ever.
He may be bigger than ever. You had him on your show.
Yeah.
How was that? What is he like? Is he big or is he small?
He's not big. He's not a big guy. He's small. I mean, he's not like tiny, but he's not.
Somebody said he rides a bike. Guy. Is that true or not?
I did not see him on a bicycle. I can neither confirm nor deny. Huh. I believe he took an Uber to the studio.
Someone said he rode a bike to.
Listen, I'll be honest. He told me he took an Uber to the studio. I did not see with my own eyes how he got there. He could have
not an Uber black.
He could. It was certainly an Uber white. No, honestly, my impressions I like Nick. And
he seems like a fascinating cat. I mean, he's obviously fascinating. He's fast. People are fascinated by him.
Well, he's brilliant and he's hilarious, which is already something that I just like that. I like funny people.
He's fucking brave, dude.
Oh, he's definitely brave. And we have some pretty large areas of disagreement, I think. But I've always kind of believed okay, so then. It's just, maybe this is kind of like a little naive or something, but my attitude was always like, all right, so we got some areas of disagreement. So hey, let's talk about them. And let's kind of let's have more conversations and more debates and more, you know what I mean? And
that's good. I'll take that. I'll take that. We'll take the glazing, and that's good. Pushing them out more mainstream, more defense there. That helps to defend against the obvious kind of consistent white nationalism, Nazis, Nazi that. I swear to God, there's a long one. Yeah, here it is. His broadcasting abilities. I've seen black people do mashups and loving him, which I'm sure, okay. That's just going to be about, we all know that though. All of the black people who come out and they're like, hey, he says the N-word, man, but he's funny. He just gets it, man. I've seen so many of those. Isn't Dave married to a Jew? I don't know. No, I don't know who. I know he is married. I know he has a family, but I'm not. I have no idea who. I typically, that's kind of like how a lot of this stuff goes too. It's like Mexicans also surprisingly like Nick. I like you threw that in there. Also, everybody, shout out to Tix Bomber. He got his 2 feet back. you know, everybody who knows, Tix has been recovering from being struck by, unfortunately, by a drunk driver. Tix recently got his legs back underneath him, so he's been moving along. So shout out to Tix, and everybody pray for his progress to continue keep moving in that direction. Then the what was the next thing? Oh, this was the funny one. So this is an RFK AI video, and this is dude. Okay, nobody judge me, but I had to watch it twice, and then I had to go to the comments. Dude, I don't know if it's because I'm tired or what, but like I seriously struggled. I struggled to figure out if this was fake or not. But I will always err on everything's fake until proven real. I think that's how most people should probably operate. But this was gold. I mean, whoever made this, absolutely shout out to them for making it. But the caption here, RFK just threw gasoline in a grenade on the Minnesota fraud fire. Unreal. Here it is.
Here's the deal. Immigrants bring in diseases, including but not limited to AIDS, okay? And if they're not bringing in literal AIDS, they're bringing in business AIDS, or what many have called fraud. For example, as Nick Shirley exposed, Somalia brings in a lot of business AIDS. Follow me on this, okay? You start with the HIV that is mass immigration, folks, and before you know it, your country has Somali business AIDS, and it's full blown. For this reason, my team and I are recommending that we shut down third world immigration entirely, especially from Somalia, but also India as well. Think about it, like, what's the upside here? There isn't any. Here's the...
Who'd flash there at the end? Unreal. So thankfully they added context clues to help us out. But no, it's not real. It's not real. Whoever made that did a great job, because I would imagine RFK's voice has got to be a really hard one to get down with the AI. But dude, whoever did that, dude, brilliant. That's amazing. Somebody asked, Groovy said, what was wrong with his voice? I don't remember the name of it per se, but it's something to do with like some vibrational thing in his vocal cords. I think it might even be genetic. I'm unsure. It is unfortunate because he's it makes it so nobody wants to listen to him. And how could you blame anybody, dude? Dude, he's like shaking, going back and forth. But I thought that was funny and wanted to make sure I warned you guys here first that I halfway fell for it. But now we can all know this isn't real. We don't need to don't share it to your friends and family. It's just funny. And then I guess switching back to something that's a bit more serious. This is the Unusual Whales with their post on it, and I'm sure there's many others. But the U.S. Justice Department has released less than 1% of the Epstein files per The Guardian. He got from vaccine damage. Probably. I'd blame it on that, which is another shout out, actually. I didn't have that on the topic list. I can't remember who actually got it through, but I believe the newborn schedule for vaccines in the United States went down from 72 to 11, which is a major win for us. I mean, we needed that, right? We need to push for things like that. And we need to probably get it less than that too, but obviously going from 72 to 11, that's a major W, and hopefully it stays and sticks and isn't one of the first things that they reverse once they get back into power. But this is more so, maybe honestly when I saw this felt like it was an attempt by the media to maintain the Epstein files in the news media cycle. And what I saw even from, I think it was like Matt, was it Kim.com? I don't think it was from Kim.com, but it was from one of those kind of like crypto hacker types who aren't really political, but they're always in the like they're very conspiratorial. And he made a very simple post. He was like, but just like that, he quoted the Venezuela strike, and just like that, the Epstein files is no longer in the news cycle. And so when I saw this, and I didn't see many people, not many like politicos pushing it, I saw it from like Unusual Whales, Disclosed TV, The Guardian, maybe even New York Post. It made me think it was like a media attempt to make sure that Epstein files are staying in the news cycle, that they're not being forgotten. So who knows with that though? But at this point, obviously the people would like to get the truth behind the Epstein files. I'm not saying don't stop seeking it, but to expect that we're going to get it anytime soon without like literally like walking into the Capitol ourselves and taking it, I really don't. I don't know how we're going to get it. This is one that blew me away, and you guys are gonna. This will piss you guys off too, because this is like tier F of Democrat, like low IQ, like just BS behavior, like like that's stuff for black people. Like black people do that, and so this is. I'm just messing, dude. Calm down. Am I? But this is. He says, for those asking, no, this is not AI. This is end wokeness. It says breaking. Congressional Dems just held a candlelit vigil to honor the 5th January 6th anniversary. I kid you not. They are sitting there holding candles. And in honor of January 6th. Bruh. Talk about fake and gay. It's this. It's not homosexual acts. It's not just, it's not plastic. It's this. This is fake and gay. That is fake and gay. That is like by definition, like fake and gay trademark. This. Like, what are we doing, dude? Like, these people need help. It should be for Ashley Babbitt. It totally should be for Ashley Babbitt. And now I haven't verified this story, but it's a story that I just caught a little bit of wind of. Maybe I'll just look it up. We're free balling today, dude. So we're just gonna look it up in real time, because that's what we do here, dude. We free ball. Because sometimes you pack too much and tidy whities don't do the job. So we need. What was it? It was yes, Ashley Babbitt. Is that how I spell it too? I think it's with an I. Is it Ashley Babbitt? Yes. They're all gay or Jewish or both, same thing. Yeah. Come on now. There is, hold on. I don't want to see the video. Please don't play me the video. But it's the guy. What's his name? Michael Bird. That's it. Ashley Babbitt, Michael Bird. Because there's a story that came out about Michael Bird. And dude, it's more of the same, dude. More of the same. There it is. That's what it was. So I saw this. So from Sub Mario, bro. I saw from a few other people. Was it MJ Truth Altha? Altha? Jesus, that was an awful list. Interesting. Whose is it that I see it from? It felt like a lot more legit than those guys'. I guess we'll look at MJ Truth Ultras. They're like a decent account on here. Loincloth elitist. Go back in the good old days, man. They didn't do nothing. They were free. That's what it means to be free. When you can feel. No, I'm not even going to finish saying it. This is from MJ Truth Ultra. And, so it's Michael Bird. And that was the officer who shot Ashley Babbitt. But what it came out is that it supposedly, is it from Paul Sperry? Records show U.S. Capitol Police Michael Bird, who fatally shot Ashley Babbitt, has been running an unaccredited daycare center with his wife, who has received $190 million in HHS daycare funds. What am I supposed to even say to that? And if it's on Paul Sperry, let me find it here. Hopefully it's still there. This is insane. So let's go. What does this article say? Oh, this is the link to the daycare. Oh, I don't want that. Get rid of that, please. The link to it no longer works. It's crazy. Thoughts? Grok, is this real? Grok, is this real? Dude, I gotta join in, dude. Everybody with me, dude. Everybody, ask Grok, is this real? Dude, we'll see what Grok has to say for that. We can have fun from time to time on here. Should have opened a damn daycare. Right? Should have, dude. And that's kind of the point that I'd made. On a serious note, that was kind of one of the points that I'd made. Which was like, it's not that people, and I think Homath had worded this the best. He articulated it the best from what I had seen. It's not that people want to actively break the law. It's that when people are holding themselves to their own kind of like inner idea of what they believe is socially acceptable, what the rule of law is supposed to be, and they operate under it. Meanwhile, generally white people, but meanwhile, every other group is operating not under that same rule of law. And in fact, while they're also not honoring the law, even when they do get caught or convicted of such things, it's like less than what would have been desirable in terms of what people would have considered actually justice. And so it's not to say people want to break the law, but at a certain point they begin to ask themselves, like, what am I even being a good person for? And when someone's asking themselves that, and they don't have a strong Christian foundation, it's like, I really don't know how they make those kind of moral judgments. You know, without Jesus being there, without Christianity being there, like what? How does a person continually convince themselves to tolerate that stuff? I mean, they wouldn't. I think the logical conclusion to that line of thinking would be, I shouldn't be. I shouldn't. Why would I be doing this? I'm only harming myself and my own family and my children by doing this. I need to stop doing this. And that's again one of these things. That's again these layers here of what anger people on top of it. And King Troll says, taking part in AI, just please no. I'll listen to a real man on these issues, a strong woman on nurturing advice, but don't do it. Be as human as possible. I guess that's advice from a woman, but come on. Is the AI in the room with us right now? Maybe you're behind. I don't know. You could be a lot further behind. I have no idea. And then moving off of that, that's obviously a crazy story, just something I remembered at the last minute. But if you go to Iran is struggling with the protest. And we'll get to the AI, because AI is really the last thing I cover here, actually. It's right after this Iran story. Iran is ready to pay. I see both ends of this. I think there are actually typically good uses, especially for things that are like typically on procedural generation. But again, context matters, circumstance matters. This is from Breaking 911. Iran announces a monthly payment of $7 per person as nationwide protests grow over the economy. We're getting paid, boys. We're getting paid. $7 per person. And sure, that might actually be a lot more money to them than what it would be to us, depending on like how their economy is. I don't have those figures in front of me. I can't imagine it's that big of a difference. Like, there's no way that $7 is like 10,000 Iranian rupees or whatever it is. Who knows? But it's just sad because they're clearly reeling. I think that they don't have a strong answer for what to do with the color revolution taking place that's being pushed. And on top of that, other people are also taking part of it. The international community was taking part of it. They were cheering on some of these videos of like these women like, you know, taking off their burqas and like taking off their clothes. Like they were literally taking off everything, running out into like, you know, towards the beach or wherever they were at. And it's just like, you know, the kind of the typical like feminism kind of angle to it, which is like they weren't allowed to show their titties everywhere. Like we have to blow these people up. Like, you know, but people get behind that. They're like, oh dude, yeah. They're like, this only woman to wear clothes, dude? We got to bomb them right now. And so that's one was being pushed as well. I did see unconfirmed, and again, take everything with a grain of salt. Always treat video that you see as fake until proven real. But I did supposedly see there was a report that the IRGC is that right? IRGC? Is it, or the IGRC? Regardless, the Iranian force was out there and there was helicopters floating above Tehran. And so there perhaps seems to be some movement happening in Iran. And I think for the most part, everybody right now is just waiting for when is that shoe going to drop? When is the footage going to start flooding our feeds that we have went and tried to extract Khamenei? I think I always say it wrong. But just to show you where Iran's at with everything. And then one of the last things I wanted to bring attention to is this general trend. Now, I've made mention of it a few times for a few different reasons. But it's a trend of everybody asking Grok, put her in a bikini. Grok, put her in dental floss. Grok, put her in a transparent plastic bag. It's all over the timeline. And the crazy thing was, no, I've not seen any of this, and thank the Lord. And also, I would imagine if you see any of these posts, avoid them, because now I don't know how true it is, because it's one of these things where it's just like it's disgusting, and it's like someone else has got to do it. But the report is, and it's coming from people even like Ashley St. Clair as well, which you guys know my opinion on her, but she's threatening to, I think, sue either X or somebody. It might even just be Elon. And again, this might just be a continuation of her vendetta against him. But because she got super irritated that people were all under her page going like, at Ashley St. Clair, put her in a micro bikini, at Ashley St. Clair Grok, turn her around and make her face the camera, like all these things, right? And so supposedly even the extension of that is there's photos of children on the internet, and Grok is apparently doing that with no moderation at all. And so that's what some people are saying. Now, what I will accept is the child thing. Yeah, definitely should not be allowed at all, period. Needs to be immediately. And if there were people who were doing it to children, and it's like very clearly that they were doing it, it's like those people probably need to be like, if we have who they are and we know who they are, put them on a list or whatever. The other one that's crazy is the fact that I'm seeing more of the girls asking for it than I am of the guys. And so what I mean by that is I'm not going to put any of it on screen because it's just so degenerate. Is a lot of these girls are grabbing their old quote tweets from like all of their models when they're just OnlyFans. They're just whores, dude. That's just what they are. E-girls, whatever. And they're quoting like posts they made back in like December of 2023. And it's like, Grok, can you put me in a bikini and the same angle? And so what I wanted to show you was here is this. This is this kind of this split here. This is Ella Maulding and Pearl Davis. Now, Ella Maulding, for you guys, if you don't know, Ella Maulding is somebody who's very closely aligned with Nick, is, I think, as far as I understand, good friends with Nick, a strong friend of the America First movement. But what's the golden rule? Never e-girls, not even once. So remember that. So this is Ella Maulding, and you might have seen one of her videos. She did a recent one about the USS Liberty. She does the very prototypical, the selfie video where she sits here, things pop above her head. It's kind of one of the similar styles most people use. She says, anyone asking Grok to remove clothing from a woman on X should be registered as a sex offender. And anyone having Grok remove clothing from a child on X should legitimately be charged with child porn and jailed. Disgusting filth. Pearl Davis responded to her saying, another woman wanting the benefits of being on the internet without the negatives that come with it. How are you different than an entitled feminist? This is a real world, Ella. You're an influencer. Grow up and stop complaining. So I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are on this, because I've already kind of given a broader take on what I think about porn. I would have no issues with it being banned across the board. I know for some people that bothers them, but I do think if you are making categorical distinctions that as long as, because political speech should be protected no matter what, but I think you'd have to make the argument that pornography would fall under an expression of a political expression. And I don't think it does. So just to say, there's different schools of thought on this. Then this is Asuka Groiper. Now, Asuka Groiper follows me. I follow him. I happen to like a lot of what Asuka Groiper puts up. I know a lot of people here are like, they're never Groipers, never Nick. A lot of you guys fell off the bandwagon. That's fine. We can disagree. But Asuka Groiper says that women are upset about Grok putting them in bikinis, but there are two reasons that they will never state publicly. A bikini, which they've said for years, is not a sexual piece of clothing. One, the AI version of themselves is more attractive than they are, which is also another problem, which that is another story for another day. Two, the lewd AI image is being posted for free, when they know that they have the potential to monetize sexualized images of their body for thousands of dollars if they choose to do so. He continues, he says, they want the benefits of putting out their image using their body to gain a following with none of the consequences that come with it. If they were men, no one would care what they had to think. This is not one universally unattractive e-girl that is famous because of her smarts and good takes for a reason. Also, their crash outs reminded me of back when 4chan was photoshopping clothes onto and removing tattoos of OnlyFans models and e-girls, and they freaked out about that too. Women seeing themselves being made more attractive or seeing what they could have been is a nightmare scenario for them. Obviously, on the other point regarding children, I don't condone that at all. Legal consequences happen because of it. Grok should be held responsible as well. And that too, actually, I do think that as well. It's like the tool, it can't just be the people. It's like the tool that's like anyone has access to it as long as they have an account can tag Grok. There does need to be something along those lines, some kind of penalty. Not like it needs like the censorship apparatus is one thing with the children, but maybe like some like monetary fine for just like having such an open-ended like what's the word? Just something that was so open-ended that like clearly didn't have any kind of moderation features to it. The crazy thing is with it is like there are moderation features on there. Like, what the insane thing is, like, when I was doing a lot of the Groyper report and I was generating stuff for, like, I wanted to get the different scenes, like, dude, anything halfway, like, violent, like, dude, I was trying to get, like, a big Groyper, like, destroying the city and, like, somebody broadcast from outside. Dude, if you typed in, like, can a big Groyper, like, slightly touch a building, it'd be like, whoop, moderated violence. But, like, it didn't have the controls for the sex. Now, part of that, you shouldn't be surprised to see this coming, given the fact that Elon Musk himself has been promoting the spicy mode on Grok. I mean, think about it. When you go to generate things, when you go to generate an image, it literally has a preset of spicy mode, which tells you it's not safe for work, 18 plus. And I think that's part of what Elon's already been pushing. I think he has no qualms at all with full blown open borders for sex workers, sexualize everything. And that is not the direction this country needs to be moving. Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah. Right. This is kind of the insanity behind it, right? And Elon is not on our side either, by the way. While we can recognize that what he did with X and the opening up of free speech did ultimately benefit us at large, in terms of the specifics, Elon Musk is not on our side at all. Elon Musk is part of the PayPal mafia. He is a butt buddy with Peter Thiel. And I have many, many, many suspicions of him. And I do think he's overstated a lot over what he actually can and does do with the company itself as well. And I've seen some things breaking down some of the actual kind of money, the seed funding, where he came from, what he actually does do, the organization element of it. And he is a bit more of a face of the company than he is actually like the driving force of it, if you will. Well, that was all of like the main stuff I was going to cover. I guess I could take it to the timeline to see what's up. I mean, if I do, I guarantee you, I might get one of these stupid. Grok, put her in a bikini. Now, on the other side of it is, I did see somebody make points, and this is kind of would probably maybe fall under like satire or comedy. But I did see somebody made a point in this conversation at large, and they had quoted a image of Elon Musk. And the image of Elon Musk wasn't actually Elon Musk. It was the famous photo that's been memed of Ben Affleck standing outside where he's like holding the cigarette, like he's trying to cool off. And what people have been sharing is there's one that somebody has juxtaposed Elon Musk in a bikini on top of that. And people were saying, like, listen, like this stuff needs to be allowed. There needs to be a much more specific like mechanism to this that's not also going to be attacking things like memes. And ultimately limiting what you can actually do with AI and making it, impossible to generate stuff without having like the perfectly prompted language. So, Tony says, put Trump in a bikini. I do not want to see that. That is that homework for the class. You guys do that on your own. Titan says, I've been right about mostly everyone else. Elon's not our guy, but to agree, we have to feign he is for now. So it's honestly fine. Everyone believes he is. Well, that's the thing. Is like I don't think it. It's like you can't be America first unless you say Elon Musk is like, no, I don't think any of that. And I think it's important to recognize like what he did do with X and the exploration of like the advertiser boycott and what went through that. That as an example does it sits there not as something to just be pointed at, but as like this is a functioning, engine, and it's a reason why like we're doing this right now. If something was to happen to X and X was to like just disappear for whatever reason, say it just gets shut down, or if it gets like what's the word, taken off the App Store or something like that, then I think it's a whole different ballgame. I think you lose. I mean, I think X is a much bigger pressure to YouTube than Rumble is, and Rumble will ever be. And with that being said, I think if you remove X as being an actual commercial pressure to like YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, they would go back to their overtly strong, like too strong censorship rules. But because X exists, they have to hold back for a bit because people are able to make money off of X. And so with that, that's one thing I would still give him credit for, definitely. Yeah, and that's the thing. He might have already ultimately honestly betrayed us. And part of it too is like when he got mad at Donald Trump, what did he say? Well, he dropped off the bomb onto X that he's in the Epstein files, and that got the ball rolling a little bit too. So it's to say that I don't think he's particularly loyal to anything, but I also would never expect him to be ideologically aligned with Christian nationalists. Like I don't think that would happen in our lifetime. Not to say that Jesus wouldn't Not to say Jesus wouldn't come around and smack some sense into him, and he couldn't repent and come to our side. I believe in redemption wholeheartedly. But just realistically, if you want my prediction, I would say no. I don't see that happening at all. And very well, he could be. He could be in the files as well too. Honestly. And what's this trade? This is Tyler Oliveira. This is like the first thing I see on here. This is the guy who did the India video. Pretty positive he did. Dude, that's crazy. No way he's talking about Jews. Dude, no way we roll into the Indian video guy talking about Jews. This guy, okay. What is this? X is the only feeling of winning. That too. I really do. It's the only platform I enjoy being on. I'm never on Instagram anymore, to be honest. This is what he says. What's Tyler Oliveira say? He says, have you heard of Kiryas Joel, New York? A village of 44,000 predominantly Hasidic Jews in upstate New York living off the teat of welfare programs and according to Jewish Talmudic law. Man, this brother will be sitting down with Nick Fuentes very soon. Is he going to be going on Tucker Carlson? He'll be doing the circuit. 99% of this village's residents are Hasidic Jews. They speak primarily Yiddish. 40% live below the federal poverty line. 40 to 60% are receiving SNAP assistance. That's awesome. Reports, literally everybody's on welfare but whites, apparently. Reports estimate an average of 7 children per woman. Are you serious? 7 children per woman in this one village, some of the highest fertility rates in the developed world. That is insane. The median age is 15 years old. So it's a super young village too. That's crazy. This guy's going to get targeted for this. Bookmark this one, dude. This might be the last you ever hear this guy. Forgive me. Ooh. Almost all children attend private religious schools, yeshivas. Per capita income is 13 grand per year, which is extremely low compared to NY averages. They vote as a bloc. One of the fastest growing cities in New York, practically impossible to move into as a non-Jew. That's wild. If Americans are upset about Somalis in Minneapolis not assimilating and living according to Sharia law while sucking the teat of welfare programs, then what's the excuse for this religious ethno-state feeding their massive families with your secular tax dollars? If these Hasidic Jews can live exclusively together in their own Jewish ethno-state, then why can't white people do it in Arkansas? Whoa, dude. This guy came out and said, you know what my politics are, dude? Man. Hey, dude. Certified, well, not certified yet. Potential Wanghalf, dude. We have a, he's on fire right now. He's got 2. He's got in India. Dude, this tweet alone is just like, dude, baller. Swish, dude. That's funny though. That's awesome, man. That's pretty cool. And I didn't know anything about this village, but I mean, obviously I knew New York is pretty heavily, Jewish central. The Pashits radicalized him. That could be, dude. And honestly, it probably wasn't even like him being in India. It was probably the reaction to the video that radicalized him. And I bet you in that responses, there probably was a lot of people who were saying like, thank you for covering this. We know the media won't cover it. Like, thank you for showing that we're not similar and these things need to be pushed. Because imagine going through that and then going back home and being like, do I want that here? No. Like, no. And then, and for him from the most basic sense of being like, I don't want my cities to be covered in cow shit. Forgive me, shouldn't be cursing. I don't want my cities to be covered in cow poop. I don't want to have to keep my door open to cows. I don't want my next door neighbors screaming at me and threatening me because I didn't let the cow just walk through my door, and a lot of this stuff. That's crazy. Hey, listen, dude, we'll take more of them, dude. We need more wing halves. We need some more, and that'd be a baller. And if anything, is this the real Nick Shirley? Well, the real Nick Shirley, please stand up. Somebody who actually cares about their message, not just being an extension of the administration, being able to continually annihilate and violate and abuse everything against the American people. That's awesome. And shout out to Tyler Oliveira, man. I think I already follow him, but I will follow him. No, I don't. Followed. And I subscribe to him on YouTube as well too. But that basically brings us to the end here. I don't want to keep you guys too pulled in, too wrapped up, especially because Owen Schroyer and Zeb Boykin are sitting down right now. I'd imagine that's still going on. But thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it greatly. That is one thing I'd like to do a lot more on the days where I put out the video. I would still like to stream. It just isn't going to be as, unfortunately, packed together and organized as the other stuff is. And so maybe it's a lot more funny to do it this way. Who knows? No, Zeb ended 30 minutes ago. This is a 30-minute conversation? Dog. You get Owen Schroyer on and you only have a 30-minute conversation? Zeb messed up the time slots again? Zeb, no. No. Everybody go attack Zeb. Everybody go call Zeb a federal Jew. No, I'm just kidding. That's unfortunate. That sucks. But hopefully, and if you guys didn't catch it already, I did put out the video earlier exploring some of the details about the OnlyFans being imported into America and some of the stuff that goes along inside of that too. And I will say this as well. It does seem to look like it's almost a circular, because again, OnlyFans is the #1 donator to AIPAC. And if we're bringing in people on O1B visas by the tens, 20s of thousands, it stands to reason that this is some kind of circular network, knowing that it will help benefit the money that's flowing into AIPAC. So with that being said, I encourage you to go watch that video. I hope you guys have a good rest of your night. Christ is king, as always, and always will be and always was. Seek first the kingdom of God. Make sure that you're staying up and in tune with church and with your Bible as well. And again, I'll be the first to say I am guilty of being a church hopper. And I know how difficult it can be to try to find the right one per se. And sometimes it feels like you're never going to find that. And so I do encourage you, people, definitely, and I know they're split, but I like pulling from both Joel Webben and Stone Choir. Heck, Stone Choir would probably attack me for that even. I don't care. Those, I think, are really good resources to look into between both of them. Explore, open your mind, especially if you don't have a church you can go to. Those guys are great resources to listen to. And as always, deport Cash Patel, deport Pam Bondi. Like the video if you haven't already, you filthy Indian. Just kidding. Not kidding. He just wants to play Arc Raiders. That's hilarious. Dude, I played Arc Raiders a few days ago and I rage quit. That game's actually enraging to me for a few different reasons, but I'm sure you guys actually enjoy it. Maybe we'll do a gaming stream sometime soon. I don't know. I'm running out of chances to do anything, to be honest with you. But I appreciate you guys being here. As always, Christ is king. Deport Pam Bondi, deport Cash Patel, and chain all women over the weight of 125 pounds to a kitchen sink, or deport them to India. They'll lose weight by running from the Indians. What am I doing? Appreciate you guys greatly. You guys have a good rest of your night. Take care. Peace. I'll see you next time.
Get up and get out. Get out. Get out.
I have a question for you.
Say Christ is Lord. Say Christ is Lord. Say it. You say Christ is Lord. Get out. Get out.